Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kira if you're new here, and this is my Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc playthrough. If you need to catch up on the playthrough so far, I will put a card over the video so you can see the whole playlist of everything that's happened. We just finished the Chapter 5 class trial, and somehow we were the ones that were punished, but luckily our good old friend Alter Ego came through to save us one last time. So instead of being squished in a ball or a flat pancake, we are now in a trash dumpster, and we need to find our way out. Kyoko seemed quite confident that she had trapped Monokuma rather than vice versa. So I'm just gonna hop right into it, but don't forget I do stream this live on Twitch at twitch.tv/xgiru. Even if you've watched this video after I have finished the game live, definitely come right over because I am planning on playing Danganronpa 2 as well, and I'd love to have you there. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'm eager beaver. Okay, I can look at everything in here. That's a rocket and a tank. Wait, I remember the rocket from the intro. I better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? Whose punishment was the airplane? Oh, I already clicked this. My bad. This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me. Rattle, rattle. It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. That's immediately what I thought of too. I was like, oh, Laura Lee. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. In the garbage pit? There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten, obviously. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around a bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides, but that's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. Good crunch! Is it Monokuma? What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude. Is it her? Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
I need fan art. I need fan art. All of the fan art that has Kyoko with the ramen cup on her head. Instantaneously. Put it in my Discord. Look it up, find it, and put it in my Discord, okay? You came through with the Byakudo. Now we need this. She lives. Yeah. So the first, when she died, that was a bad ending that we got. And then, so it rewound us back to the decision that got us the bad ending. And then I picked the right one. I was almost punished, but instead, Alter Ego hacked the system one more time so that I would be spared. And I ended up in a garbage pit instead of being crushed. So that's why I'm down here. And I guess she came down here to find me. It's her new hat. Leave her alone. Oh my god, it's giving Tiny Hat and Infinity Nikki. If you know, you know. Kyoko?
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You've got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey,
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way toward my stomach. Phew, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. She really could only bring me 2 pieces of bread. That's kind of fucked up. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt? Or, no, to atone. Atone?
you...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. Well, actually I did, So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, it's not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to the school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason. So what's the reason?
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did. Once. Once? Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot? But that's what she said. Then, is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? The first thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it could also mean, somehow, my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind, which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance the mastermind is actually one of us. What if it's her? Oh my god. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind. One of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However...
I think a day, Alfreyak. That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. Bro, she just called us dumb. That was just intuition, but... I see. Your intuition is right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
Why? It's just like the dream I had before, but Why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Am I the mastermind? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you for your help right away, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. I think I just need to talk to her again. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own, so how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. Is it? I imagine it's to discover the secret of the school. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective! Honestly, we knew this. Wait, Akechi vibes? Akechers? How was your shower, Alfie? The ultimate detective? And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father! I kind of had a feeling. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad? Is Hope's Peak Academy's headmaster? Then that explains... When Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved...
No matter what? So,
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. She killed her dad? No, the headmaster's still alive. She came here to find her dad, because he's the headmaster of Hope's Peak. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
so...
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean, the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So, what was it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized. Whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we'd ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. She has so much to say.
However...
Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then, who did kill her?
Anyway...
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. What What the fuck did I do, Casey? Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikisaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. So, was the mastermind in the lab coat after all? Thank you for the blurt, Casey. Sweet dreams. I could have been the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes, I do. Of course I do. During the night? I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. That's a crazy thing to say. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down at the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. I'm still not convinced that that person that tried to kill me is the same as... Mukuro. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So, what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind's the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. Throw it back, Chet. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
what happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, where they killed all of us. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair?
Would seem
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're...
indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. I forgot that was the title of this chapter. Wow, nobody... Well, I guess 6 makes sense. Somebody did die. Okay, that's gonna be a really short episode. Why does that look like a weir? Dream Rocket. Keep going. Okay. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this game and began broadcasting it around the world. Oh yeah, I forgot we were like in a Squid Game situation. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Yeah, it's broadcasted, Alfie. I forgot about that. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Do I keep talking to her? Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Hey Kyoko, we can use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... Yes! It opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Whoa. Danganronpa. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up, like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So, how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
Right.
because we take pride in it. Pride.
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. I shouldn't laugh at the little blur on her butt sends me. The forced upskirt is crazy. But I don't know how else they would have drawn it. They put themselves in a hole. But I bet the Gooners go crazy. There's a couple illustrations in this game where the Gooners would have gone crazy. Which is why we made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I'd absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However...
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him. face to face. What is it?
So,
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, he had a promising future,
however,
but he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather and they had a huge argument, and as young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. Now, why are you defending her deadbeat dad, Makoto? What's all that about? I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However,
But there's one thing I can never forgive. Really?
so,
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
however,
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow. Wait, cue Shadow of the Man by Lady Gaga off the 2025 album Mayhem? This is crazy. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Okay,
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. If this were me yapping and climbing a ladder, I would have lost all my stamina and beefed it. That's what I was thinking too. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Where does this open out to? Is that blood or rust? Looks like this is it.
indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? Oh, I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Wow, I'm glad we made it up that ladder, everybody. Only one day in the big trash room, so I consider that a success. I'm really... who is the other ultimate despair? Somehow when this game gives you so many more answers, you also get so many more questions. I don't understand how they do it. How do they do it? I don't know. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel so that YouTube lets you know when I post more. Don't forget I'm streaming this live on Twitch. I feel we have to be close to the end now. I don't know how many chapters there are in this game, but it's really giving final arc right now, so hopefully we finish soon. I want answers so bad. I want them so bad. I hope you have a lovely rest of your night. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.